Find more questions and study at your own pace on our website. The link will be in the description. Let's get started. Question 1. You have an Azure subscription that contains a user named User1. You need to ensure that User1 can create managed identities. The solution must use the principle of least privilege. What should you do? Option A. Create a management group and assign User1 the hybrid identity administrator Azure Active Directory role. Option B. Create a management group and assign User1 the managed identity operator role. Option C. Create a resource group and assign User1 to the managed identity contributor role. Option D. Create an organizational unit and assign User1 the user administrator Azure Active Directory role. To allow User1 to create managed identities while adhering to the principle of least privilege, User1 should be assigned the managed identity contributor role. This role has the necessary permissions to create, read, update, and delete user-assigned managed identities. Assigning a lower privilege role, such as managed identity operator, would not suffice as it does not include permissions to create managed identities. Question 2. Your company has an Active Directory forest with a single domain, named waylandindustries.com. They also have an Azure Active Directory tenant with the same name. After syncing all on-premises identities to Azure AD, you are informed that users with a given name attribute starting with lab should not be allowed to sync to Azure AD. Which of the following actions should you take? Option A. You should make use of the synchronization rules editor to create an attribute-based filtering rule. Option B. You should configure a DNAT rule on the firewall. Option C. You should configure a network traffic filtering rule on the firewall. Option D. You should make use of Active Directory users and computers to create an attribute-based filtering rule. To prevent users with a given name attribute starting with lab from syncing to Azure AD, you should use the synchronization rules editor to create an attribute-based filtering rule. This tool allows you to create custom synchronization criteria based on specific attributes of the users, which fits the requirements stated in the question. Question 3. You have an Azure subscription named Subscription 1. You need to view which security settings are assigned to Subscription 1 by default. Which Azure policy or initiative definition should you review? Option A. The Audit Diagnostic Setting Policy Definition. Option B. The Enable Monitoring and Azure Security Center Initiative definition. Option C. The Enable Azure Monitor for VMs Initiative definition. Option D. The Azure Monitor Solution, Security and Audit, must be deployed policy definition. To view the security settings assigned by default to an Azure subscription, the relevant Azure policy or initiative definition to review is Enable Monitoring in Azure Security Center Initiative definition. This initiative helps monitor and manage the security settings and compliance posture of the subscription through Azure Security Center, now called Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Question 4. Your company recently created an Azure subscription. You have been tasked with making sure that a specified user is able to implement Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. Which of the following is the role you should assign to the user? Option A. The Global Administrator role. Option B. The Security Administrator role. Option C. The Password Administrator role. Option D. The Compliance Administrator role. The Global Administrator role is required to enable and manage Azure AD Privileged Identity Management. This role has the highest level of privilege in Azure AD and allows a user to configure, manage, and implement PM settings and assignments. This role gives the necessary permissions to perform all administrative functions, including those related to PIM. Question 5. You have an Azure subscription that uses Microsoft Defender for Cloud. You have an Amazon Web Services account. You need to ensure that when you deploy a new AWS Elastic Compute Cloud instance, the Microsoft Defender for Servers agent installs automatically. What should you configure first? Option A. The Classic Cloud Connector. Option B. The Azure Monitor agent. Option C. The Log Analytics agent. Option D. The Native Cloud Connector. To ensure that the Microsoft Defender for Servers agent installs automatically on new AWS EC2 instances, configuring the native cloud connector first is necessary. The native cloud connector provides an agentless connection to your AWS account, which can extend with Microsoft Defender for Cloud Defender plans to secure AWS resources. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to check out our website where you can find more questions for this exam. The link will be in the description. Thank you for watching and good luck on your exams.